Welcome once again to Lighthouse, and I am your host, Rachel. Today, we will continue on our series on the 12 disciples. If you haven't seen the first disciple, it will be best to start with that. Today's class is about the second disciple. Now, this disciple is a brother to the first disciple. This disciple is called Andrew. Andrew. Simon Peter and Andrew. This is the first disciple we're going to be dealing, the second disciple we're going to be dealing with today. What is the meaning of Andrew? Now, the Bible is not read literally. The Bible is read spiritually because everything about God is spirit. So you cannot understand the Bible when you read it if you try to understand it in a material, in a fleshly way, you will miss the point. You can read it for a long time and never get it. So I'm just going to go straight in. Andrew, the disciple called Andrew, means simply courage. This disciple means courage. Have courage. Okay, so these disciples in our lives, we're supposed to train these disciples to walk with the Christ. When you start waking up as the Son of God, all these disciples that are in our bodies, they all have to be disciplined. Right now, they're in our bodies, but they are undisciplined. And what did we say? We said that the consciousness is the master. The subconsciousness is the servant. This is always serving the master. Now these over here, the disciples, are the ones going to follow the master. Now these disciples are all in they are in all of us, but they are not trained. So what is courage? Courage is when you're afraid to do something, but you do it anyway. This is courage. And Andrew means courage, the boldness, the daredevil. You dare to do things. The opposite of courage. The opposite of courage is fear. Courage, fear. So if your disciple is not trained, what is this? You always have fear. If your disciple is trained, you have courage. So the opposite of courage is fear. I need you to do something, you're always afraid. I don't know. You think about it. You procrastinate because you're afraid. The disciple needs to be trained to stop being afraid. Now, with fear, you cannot walk with the Christ. You cannot be the Son of God if you're afraid. These are not attributes of God. And now, humans, you and me, the fear rules our lives. Many, almost 70%, 50 to 70% of our lives, we're ruled by fear. You're afraid to speak the word of God. You're afraid to be your authentic self. You're afraid to say the way it's supposed to be said. You're afraid to stand for the truth. You're afraid to say, I'm a child of God. You're afraid to speak for the light. You're afraid to do what you're supposed to do as a son of God, then you're a servant. You're a servant. If you are afraid, you're a servant. If you're the master, you have courage. So those disciples, Andrew is the bold one. Courage. He dares to do things. He dares to stand for his master. He dares to stand for the truth. He dares to do it, even if they say they're going to kill him. He dares to do it. Courage is afraid. Courage is you're afraid, but you do it anyway. Courage is boldness. And with this comes strength. And courage, when you have courage, when you discipline this disciple, and you have courage, courage brings about faith in yourself. Because if you're afraid of something and you do it anyway, what do you think happens? You feel a boldness, a strength inside you. You have faith in yourself that, wow, I never knew I could do that. Wow, I never knew I was that strong. Because courage brings forth strength. You do something even though you didn't want to do it, but you did it. This is courage. It brings faith in yourself. You have confidence in yourself. You have strength in yourself. In the God in you, you have strength in something. You have a knowing of something is here that made me do it. And you get stronger and stronger by practice. You get stronger and stronger. This is the disciple, the second disciple we need to train inside of us. Strength, courage, courage to say no, courage to say thank you, courage to say not for me, courage to walk away, courage to stand up for the truth, courage to stand and protect somebody that is being treated badly, courage to say no, I will not do that. Courage to say, I will not eat that. Courage to say, I want to stand for the light. Courage. This is the second attribute we need to work with in our bodies, in our systems. Now, when you start having strength and faith in yourself, never on anybody else outside of you. Remember, there is nothing outside of you. Always you. The biggest battle to fight is always you. Never ever forget. If you forget anything else I'm teaching you, never forget. The biggest fight is always you. The biggest enemy is always inside you. The biggest mountain to climb is always inside you. Courage. If you can train up courage to stand for God, to stand for the truth, to stand for your brothers, to stand for your neighbor, to speak the truth, to share love, unconditional love. You dare to forgive. You dare to love. You dare to speak the word of God. You dare. Even if everybody said, no, we don't usually do this here, but you dare. You stand for the truth. This is courage. Even though you know the people might not like you, they're going to hate you. They're going to throw stuff at you. They're going to kill you. Jesus went all the way to the cross. They're going to kill you. They're going to call you names, but you do it anyway. This is the second disciple happening right here. Courage. And with courage comes faith in yourself. You do it once, you do it twice, you always do it again, because your faith increases, expands. And with faith comes peace. You come in a state of peace. Peace that passeth all understanding. Peace that passeth all understanding. Faith comes peace that passeth all understanding. You can find this in Philippians 4:7 and Philippians 4:13. I can do nothing of myself except through Christ. You get a courage, you get a strength from inside of you. Something happens here, and then you have peace that passeth all understanding. And then the people of the world will look at you and say, how does he do that? How does she manage to have faith when things are looking so bad? How is it possible? You have a peace that passes all understanding. This peace comes from the fact that you have faith in something that is greater than the material world. And that faith came from having courage. You see, all three go together: courage, faith, and peace. They work together, just like brothers. They're hanging together. Courage builds up faith, builds up peace. You have a peace that passeth all understanding, and nobody is going to understand you, because you've become supernatural. And this is the noble way to be. To be a human is actually super. It's a supernatural way of living, because we are spirit living in a physical world. Now, spirit and flesh are two separate things. If you're going to survive on this journey towards heaven, towards God, you have to train your disciples, because these are your armors you're going to have to carry with you. These are your team that work for you. These are the ones that are going to take you all the way. They're going to help you on this journey. We talked about the first disciple, your hearing. Now we come to the second disciple, which is courage. And courage, down the road, you're going to find that there are going to be hurdles to jump over, mountains to climb, things to do. There's going to be tough on you. If this disciple is weak, you will be afraid, because the opposite of courage is fear. You will fear, be afraid of everything that happens around you. So you have to train and discipline these disciples within you. There is nothing outside of you. Always you. Everything rotates within you. Stop looking out. Train here. You, me, it's I. If I have a problem, it's me. I have to check it out, it's me. I have to find out what is wrong with me. Not my neighbor, it's me. I am the problem. I am the mountain. I am the hinder. I am the one sabotaging for myself. Me. Go in, check it, you will see. It's always me. If I train my disciples, I would not have any problem. So if your disciple is trained, what happens? You will have a peace that passeth all understanding. You will have absolute faith in yourself. If your disciple is not disciplined, what happens? Faith jumps out of the window. Faith jumps out the window. with every test that comes his way. The faith just goes ooh, out of the window because they are not trained. They will take the first flight of running as soon as a problem shows up. They go with complaining and then fear and then take to their heels and run away. So, trained or untrained disciple, Andrew, the second disciple, has courage. Do you have courage? Are you going to train yourself on his courage? Are you going to walk with your disciples that are ready to walk with you? But you are the commander. You are the one to train them. Chew on these lectures. Think about it, walk with it, and run with it. Thank you for watching. Once again, remember, I love you. I love you. I love you. Peace, peace, peace.